I'm live and in color.
In living color. You got everything else set up now?
Yep. Hope's Homestead was the first one, and what's up, Hope? Oh!
Sorry, y'all. I was so listening to everything that Amanda had to say, I lost track of time.
Living like Claire, Lady Hawthorne, I wear aprons, kitty, kitty, kitty.
Kind of caught me off.
Suburban Miss Dunaway. Dun, dun, dun,
Miss
dun,
Dunaway, is that Jennifer or
yes.
Jordan?
Jennifer.
Oh, okay.
Moon Ridge, Simply Circus.
Yay.
Always, Steve, the professor's in the house.
Where's Mama at? She better show up.
Sugar Mama's here.
Oh, goodness, that is so strong.
I was on Skype today.
Huh? Who said you weren't on Skype?
Palmetto Pooper Scooper. Brad's in the house. Kiwi. Farmer Mom.
There are all kinds of discombobulated here.
Oh, we're on the big screen tonight there, honey. That's why.
Where?
It always.
Oh.
House. See, there she'd be.
She had to hook. She had to.
He said, y'all are on the big screen. Angel Man from Montgomery, Alabama. What's up, Ninja? Ninja's here.
Who?
Ninja.
Who's Ninja?
Who you think Ninja is?
Oh, Rain.
Brooklyn girl, what's up?
Rain, I'm so glad you're here. I know Rosemary's one of your faves, so.
Ooh, look. Sherry Cherry got a new icon.
Yay. Oh, she did?
Yes.
Who is that? Oh, that's her.
That's her.
Yeah, that's a pretty picture. Well, it's like this big. It's hard to see. Really hard to see. Should probably get my eyes checked. I don't know.
And your ears.
And my ears. Hey, where's that bottle of Rosemary at?
Mm.
You see it over there?
Nope.
I brought it out.
Nope. You told.
No,
I offered to
did.
help and you jumped all
I did.
down
Where
my
did
throat.
it go? I promise you I had it in my pocket.
That James Cherry's here too.
Oh, James. Okay, like I'm
Your
really
BFF is
losing my
here.
mind.
Brad says he drank it.
It's right
Yeah,
there.
right there by my tea. So Brad was almost right.
Oh, killing me. Okay. Look, if you want me to... Yeah, anyway.
What's...
I promise I brought one of those too. I don't know, Rain. We're kind of mixed on that.
I don't know, Rain. I took mine down. I wasn't really getting much out of it.
Well, we didn't take it. We haven't promoted it in a while. I just haven't gotten around to taking it down. But I think
I thought we took it down.
I
off
haven't
to
completely. Yeah, right. But I haven't deleted it from Patreon. We just stopped advertising it. Oh,
A throat punch.
tonsils. No.
Throat punch.
What's it from?
Something must have aggravated it.
Well, I mean, like, is it a respiratory issue?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's not time yet. You gotta let people get in.
No. That was not nice. That was really not nice.
Your face was perfect.
Well, it took me a second to try and remember what that was referring to. Oh,
Lord. Mill Creek Farm is there. Zena Adams is here.
Drainage, not strep. So,
Throat
lemon, eucalyptus,
Throat punch.
even rosemary. We're going to talk about it tonight. So,
Yeah,
those would be the ones I would go for. Now I am not. Now I'm second guessing. Oh, yeah.
I wear my FST.
Sure, wherever.
What is FST?
Fried squash.
Oh, okay.
Must have told 100 people. Yeah. Keep pushing him there, Sugar Mama. He needs to get back into doing some fried squash stuff.
I miss talking to you today, Robin.
Well, you know the phone works both ways.
Oh! Like my kids say, you just got stashed.
You can restate the question. You were reading the folks. So yeah. Yeah, so the question was about swollen tonsils, and I asked her what was the problem with the swollen tonsils, where'd it come from, and it was allergies. Oh, and the crowd goes wild.
Not yet. Here we go.
No. Is it time?
Yep, it's 9:05.
Okay. All right.
Okay, here we go. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Homestead Network is proud to bring to you the live stream champions of the world. I'm the big bear. She's the mama bear. And we are the Big Bear Homestead.
You always crack me up with that. Okay. Well, I didn't call you because I was at work. And then I had to study. Monday's not my day.
What's up, Yank? Glad to see you back, brother.
Who was that?
Yankee 4.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go.
Like Hope Homestead says, we gonna get y'all lost like a ball in high grass. Ooh. Yeah, whatever. Excuses.
So, Funner Week Creation, she sent me a message today. She got her oil sample. And I was really sweating it because she lives in Canada. And I did not realize how ridiculous it is to send something to Canada. Because you have to file out a claim, like a customs claim. And I was like, oh, this is going to be lovely.
Hey, so if you got to file a customs claim, would you have to file a customs claim if you were sending somebody some Canadian bacon?
So, Mima, from what I'm seeing, Rosemary is actually a good one for that. When the tonsils are swollen and your airways are constricted, Rosemary is supposed to be really good for that. So, just a thought. Farmer Mima is saying her uncle's on a ventilator and he can't breathe because of his tonsils.
I know Brad ain't trying to tell somebody how to pronounce something.
What did you say?
I said Canada.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
Canada. Canadian. It's Canadian bacon. Oh, that is still too freaking.
You know, it's funny, Rain. We had a lot of people, just before we get started on the oils, because I know she's stressing out a lot about this. She's saying, you know, she wasn't expecting much. She just knew that there were people that wanted to donate. I'll tell you, we had a lot of people that said the exact same thing to us. But once we got it set up,
gone.
There was only a few people that donated. And so,
anyway. So,
okay. Yes, this is one of them. The one we're getting ready to talk about, Paratrooper. Is there an oil to increase appetite?
It's not Paratrooper. You have to call him by the name that he was given.
I am not going to call him Pooper Scooper. That's not nice.
He was given that name.
You know, Farmer Mima, what you can do, she said I should try to sneak some into the ICU. You don't have to. You wear it. They can't say anything to you about something you're wearing.
She called me handsome last night, by the way.
If you put it on a diffuser necklace or something like that, they can't stop you from wearing something yourself. Just my 2 cents on that. Old blister. You're already subbed to Dutch, aren't you?
Yeah, I already subbed. Okay. See, Dutch. See, if you weren't a jarhead, I'd boot you right now. Just saying. Y'all do the little jarhead a favor. Everybody, if you're not subbed to Homesteading with Dutch, go on over there and...
There you go. Hope will do it.
And get it done. He's a good guy. You know, he's just a Marine. Our elevators sometimes don't go to the top.
There you go. Old Alabama gardener will help you out, Farmer Mima.
There you go. But he's going to be joining the Homestead Network soon.
Yeah?
Yep.
Cool. Okay.
So, here we go.
That's
all I get to say for the rest of the night.
If you have any questions that we don't get to answer tonight, you can, and I know my moderators will put this up several times during the night. You can email us at the oils email, and I'll do my best to try and get back to you as quickly as possible to let you know. Okay, so oils for sore feet. There's actually a really good recipe that my daughter used to use, and it's been a while because I haven't had sore feet like I used to when I was at Arby's. But it is... Do you remember, honey? I know the basis is just warm water and Epsom salts, and then it's... Let's see.
Canola? Canola. That's what Brad says.
Canola. He's being silly. Sore feet. That's gonna drive me crazy. There's an actual recipe, and I can't for the life of me think where it is. Anyway, send me an email, Mill Creek, and I'll let you know. It worked really well. No.
Baby oil.
Really?
Castor oil.
Will you stop?
I'm just beating into it.
Well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, okay. Yeah, I used to spend over 10 hours a day on my feet at Arby's, and I would come home and my feet would be throbbing, and my daughters would put the oils in. Now, I keep wanting to say it's like...
It was like Epsom salts.
Like eucalyptus, rosemary, and something. I can't remember. I have to look it up just so that I can tell you exactly what it was. But I'll tell you, I went from my feet throbbing to... them feeling okay. So, alright, so we're talking about rosemary. Rosemary is cultivated in the Mediterranean, partially because of the soil conditions. They grow best there. I mean, you can grow rosemary anywhere. I'm sure most people have rosemary growing in their garden. But rosemary grows really well in moist ground. It is like a bush or shrub. It'll grow. It's a perennial, so it'll grow. It's a constant. It's not something you have to replant every year. It's a member of the plant family. I mean, the mint family. Member of the plant family. Let me go ahead and do my disclaimers real quick. If you're pregnant, you don't want to use this. If you have epilepsy, you don't want to use this. And if you have high blood pressure, don't want to use this.
Wayne, you're a guy. You can't be pregnant. You're just fat.
What did he say?
Nothing. He didn't say nothing. Okay. Beat him to it.
All right. Anybody who wants to know about the sore feet, send me an email, and I will definitely... I'm going to look that up as soon as I get off of here tonight. As a matter of fact, I'm sure if I asked my youngest daughter, she'd probably be able to tell me exactly where the recipe is. I just have to look it up. Okay, so the history behind rosemary. And I like to go just with the plant because obviously the oil would fall under that as well. In history, rosemary is the universal sign of remembrance. And it's been used throughout history for that. Egyptians used to lay sprigs of rosemary across the coffin or on the tombstone. In medieval times, Shakespeare, in Romeo and Juliet. Who's starting already?
Nobody. Just keep
You're
going.
lying.
Just keep going.
Y'all kill me. So, in Romeo and Juliet, when Juliet is buried in the scene, she's traditionally adorned with rosemary. Another thing that I read is that it used to be a wedding decoration, and it was to signify remembrance of the actual event. So the woman's floral arrangement would have sprigs of rosemary if she had any kind of stuff in her hair, and it's very fragrant, so they would put it in her hair. It was to promote the wedding event to be remembered. But then also on top of that, and I thought this was pretty funny, the newlywed couple would plant rosemary out in front of their home to signify, to remember just how important they were to each other. But what ended up happening is there was also an old saying that said wherever rosemary flourished, the woman ruled the house. And so a lot of husbands started just pulling rosemary up out of the ground. So by the 15th century, that was that was no longer really practiced as much. You didn't see as many people. So don't go giving somebody a rosemary bush for a wedding present, I guess. Rosemary comes from the Latin word rosmaris, which means the dew of the sea. And partially that's because it grows along the shoreline in the Mediterranean. In Spanish folk history, it was called Romero, and that was based on a story where a native took refuge under a rosemary bush to shelter her and her husband, and she was running from King Herod and fled Egypt. So they came up with the rosemary shortly after that story that folk story was passed around. Also in the Middle Ages, they used rosemary to ward off evil spirits and dispel negativity. People used to put it under their pillows to prevent nightmares and visits from evil spirits. They also burned it in the house to ward off the plague. The final one, and this was like, okay, so my daughter absolutely loves Greek and Roman mythology. I'm trying to think of, it's Rick Royden. Anyways, he did Percy Jackson. So she has read the Percy Jackson series, and there's mention of all the different Greek and Roman gods, and she loves reading about them because she loves the little stories that that kind of coincide with stuff. And right away when I said rosemary, she looked it up, and Aphrodite popped up. And Aphrodite is the one, if you ever look up like in
Okay, hold on.
What?
Okay, somebody tell me what was the last thing that you guys heard. Did you get his stinking iPod?
No, I don't have it. But I've got one laptop here. Why did we buffer?
We not only buffered, we got kicked offline.
It says back. How much did y'all miss? Because all I see all red.
Hold on. Aphrodite. Yes. Aphrodite.
Okay, so with Aphrodite, so it must have been very quick. All right, so basically what happened, we were reading the stories, and Aphrodite popped up in the search engine that she wrote, and everybody's seen the picture of Aphrodite on the clamshell or the whatever it is, the scallop shell or whatever. And there are some pictures that show this and some that don't, where she's actually adorned with rosemary. And the story goes that as she emerged out of the sea, she was draped with rosemary. So it's another one of those things. Kind of cool little stories. Alright, so now on to the properties of the oil. Rosemary has a ton of properties. It's antibacterial, it's antifungal, anti-infectious, anti-inflammatory, it's an analgesic, it's antioxidant, helps with arthritis, diabetes, flu, headache, memory, you name it. It's very seldom, like when I was going through and doing all my research and all the different body systems, it was very seldom that I didn't find a mention of rosemary in one of those systems. The active chemical that's in rosemary is called carnosol, and it's a powerful antioxidant. It also has anti-cancer properties. And that includes breast cancer, prostate cancer, skin cancer, leukemia, and colon cancer. It targets cells to reduce inflammation. It also balances the androgen and estrogen in the body, so it helps balance out hormones. It lowers DHT to improve hair growth, so men with baldness, that it helps with that. It reduces the risk of cancer, and I'll tell you why about that in just a minute. It also increases nerve growth factors, which repair nerve tissue. So if you have any kind of nerve damage, rosemary can help.
So you can take it internally.
Yes, it can be always. You can do it orally, topically, and aromatically.
So can you put it on ice cream as a dietary supplement?
Why not? I mean, people eat rosemary all the time. Okay. So this carnosol, it works like we were talking about anti-cancer. I read this great description of what carnosol actually does, and I think this is really cool because it just is. It works like a military sniper. It goes in and targets exactly which cells it needs to destroy, and it destroys them. Where, like with other cancer treatments, say chemo, it's like a nuclear bomb and it just destroys everything. So rosemary has been used in treatments to be able to target specific cells to be able to get rid of those cells. So I thought that was pretty neat. Let's see. Rosemary is also, like I was talking about before in the history discussion, rosemary's always been known for remembrance and memory. So it makes sense that when I started looking up memory studies, there's a lot of research for aromatherapy, and they did there was one that I found where they did a research study where there was 144 participants, and they did like rosemary and lavender, a couple different oils, and rosemary actually produced a significant enhancement of performance for overall quality of memory and secondary memory factors. So, and what it did was it helped people to be more alert. So this is a good one to have in our arsenal for our children when we're doing homeschool. Rosemary is a good one for us to diffuse in the air for that. So, and one thing they were talking about is also with Alzheimer's, is that they did a regimen for Alzheimer's patients where they did rosemary and lemon in the morning and lavender and orange in the evening. And they've seen some significant improvement, overall improvement in Alzheimer's patients with that specific regimen. Another thing that it's really good for is liver detox. In India, they did a study and they found that rosemary actually enhances your bile flow, which is the essential which is really important for fat metabolism. I mean, you've got to produce bile to be able to break down the fats in your body, and also to reduce the liver enzymes that are linked to type 2 diabetes. So rosemary is really good, and also because a lot of the things I read, like it would say, oh, it's really good for blood sugar, but it wouldn't really tell you why, and this is why. It's because it helps reduce the liver enzymes that are linked to the plasma liver enzymes that are linked to type 2 diabetes. It also enhances the performance of the gallbladder. That would have been nice to know 10 or 12 years ago. And it also boosts the nutrient absorption in your liver to prevent toxic overload. So anybody with jaundice, this would work really, really well for somebody with jaundice. Let's see, a couple other things that were mentioned. Bell's palsy, multiple sclerosis, mental, adrenal, chronic fatigue, nervousness, depression, anything like that. It also, there was a lot of mention about autism, and also just brain flow, your central nervous system, vertigo, Parkinson's. So a lot of those different issues, Rosemary's been used in protocols for that. You had anybody ask questions, or are you guys just having fun playing with each other? Okay, so now I'm going to go through a lot of the body systems and tell you what those can be used for, each one of the body systems and how Rosemary works with those. So in the cardiovascular system, it works for elevated cholesterol. It helps with poor circulation, dizziness, loss of balance, like I said, vertigo. It's also really good for edema, which is water swelling, water retention, arteriosclerosis, cardiomyopathy, which is the thickening of the muscle of the heart, irregular heartbeat, so arrhythmia, tachycardia, which is fast heartbeat.
Would it help with fibromyalgia?
Yes, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Palpitations, and then also arteriosclerosis, blah, 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 blah. All of those cardiovascular issues, pretty much, Rosemary works really well for those, anything heart health related. As far as digestive system, bowel obstructions, I wanted to look. Okay. Somebody's in here that needs to listen to this. I'm not going to point out who it is, but I know you're in here. I can see you. So just listen. Bowel obstructions, colic, flatulence, food poisoning, gallbladder, gallstones, sluggish bowels. So like if you have the urgency to go, but you can't. Jaundice, nausea, motion sickness, anything like that. So go ahead and make your jokes now. And we'll go from there.
For the cancer, would you take eternally with skin cancer or put it on
topically
or both?
Topically. And again, I'll say this one is okay to use neat. However, I would recommend using it with a carrier oil first. Okay. So now the endocrine system. We'll get off of endocrine system. Blah blah blah. What?
Your classes sometimes they're just like a big bowl of spaghetti.
Why? You're welcome, Suburban Hillbilly. I'm glad. I also heard...
Palmetto.
What? Me? Oh, I forgot about that.
Dang it, he won again.
I was thinking you had all these females talking, so you were saying meatballs. Okay, so Palmetto. Well, Palmetto, I'm not going to ship yours to you. You can come down and get it. You gonna be here in, what, a week or so?
Not even, yeah.
Yeah. A little over a week. You gave it away with your approach to the word, Jason. I thought meathead. Okay. So, let's get back to, we're done with the digestive system. Let's go into the endocrine system.
What's the endocrine system?
That's all your adrenal glands and all that fun stuff. So it's good for adrenal fatigue. It helps balance the cortisol levels, pancreatitis, and also this is one that I thought was interesting. Anybody who's resistant to insulin, when they're using insulin and they have an insulin resistance, this is really, really good for that. Yeah, your adrenals. So overall, going back to the properties of it being antibacterial, anti-infectious, antioxidant, this is definitely something you want to kind of keep in mind.
Don't pay attention to this. This is not your world tonight.
Okay. Now, I'm going to throw that at you on Saturday. Not your world tonight.
Okay, whatever.
Just remember that. Okay. So, immune system. So, here we go with the immune system.
So, rosemary can help with weight loss? Farmer Meemaw.
Well, it does help with cortisol levels. So, maybe, but I could think of more that would be better. Let's just go with that. There's, a lot of oils can do the same stuff. The thing is, it depends on which ones work best for you. That's the thing, is like, some people have an adverse reaction to lavender. Some people, all they have to do is smell it and they pass out on the floor. So, it just depends on which ones you're more receptive to. Okay, so immune system. This, from all the research that I've found, this is a very important aspect of rosemary. Because it's antibacterial, it obviously will fight against bacteria. Staph infection has been mentioned several times in all of my...
I'm a diabetic. How should I use it when I already cook with it?
I think there are other oils that would be better for diabetes. And this is more specific to type 2. And what rosemary really does is it balances out levels. So if you'll send me an email, I can look a little bit more into that. But I really think there's more... There's more to it than just rosemary. I think there are probably some oils that are way more effective for diabetes.
The sugar.
Yeah, for the sugar.
For the sugar.
What we call it down here. They've even used it in some of the protocols I saw for AIDS and HIV. Pink eye, fungus, candida, not Canada, candida. Suburban hillbilly, this is a good one for adrenaline issues. I did read that a lot. And, it's funny. I read a lot of different stuff. Yes, it is good for hemorrhoids. You guys want to be funny, but it is actually good for hemorrhoids. I read a lot, but sometimes I don't know what to include. Like, as I'm getting to know people, I do learn certain things, or, people are looking for certain stuff. Like, Living on a Dime's not in here right now, but I know she has chronic fatigue. And rosemary, in a lot of the stuff that I read, rosemary is definitely a protocol that you can use for chronic fatigue and adrenal fatigue, anything like that. Let's see. Swollen glands, infectious disease, mumps, viral hepatitis, and not that any of us would need this, but it's even been used for a couple of STDs. So,
oh boy, you just opened it up.
Gonorrhea and syphilis. So,
please explain about high blood pressure and rosemary.
Okay, don't use it. That's what I would say about rosemary. If you have high blood pressure, you don't want to use this, because what rosemary does is actually brings your blood pressure up. It actually helps when you're, is it hypotensive? So it will actually raise your blood pressure. So if you already have high blood pressure, you don't want to raise it up even more. Okay, so back to allergies. Sherry asked earlier about tonsils, swelling with allergies. So rosemary is good for constricted airways and anything with allergies. When you have constricted airways, hives, or rapid pulse while you're having an allergic reaction, rosemary is good for that. In your lymphatic system, it's good for chronic sinus infections. It's also good for eczema.
Can you mix it with an oil that will lower the BP so you can get the benefits?
I would imagine they would be counterproductive. But I would play around with that. I would do like, I would do like, and here's the thing with some of these oils that you can also cook with, they're very strong and very potent. So a lot of times in our household, we use these a lot of times to cook as well. And all it takes is a wooden toothpick. You take a wooden toothpick, drop it down in there, and then put that in your entire pot of spaghetti sauce or whatever, and that will flavor your entire pot. So maybe you would do just do the tip of a toothpick and see how that works. And if you have high blood pressure, you're gonna know if you're having issues. So I would just be really careful, because you really don't want to go skyrocketing with your blood pressure. You just want to be really careful about that. Now, overall cellular health is another thing that's really, Rosemary's really strong with. It's good for cellular health at the blood level, at the brain level, intestinally, your colon, your liver, lymph nodes, your lungs, skin, throat, and then ladies, this is good for breasts, ovaries, and uterus. So any of these things, you definitely, rosemary would be very beneficial at the cellular health level. Okay, now let's talk about mood and behavior. Any feelings of antisocial feelings, apathy, blame, lack of confidence, feelings of being overwhelmed, being oversensitive, rosemary helps to balance that out. So this oil is just so, it's multifaceted. It can be used in so many different applications. It was crazy. I thought lavender had a lot, but rosemary, even if you just grow rosemary in your garden and use it when you're cooking. Now, heat, can ruin some of the oils, but one thing I was talking to Donna from Old Ways, and she was telling me about when she used to have a couple of plants by her front door, and she used to just instinctively at first grab each one and rub it in her fingers. And I don't know about anybody else, but we do that all the time with the mint that we had or whatever. We would always rub the oils on our fingers and you smell them. And that in and of itself is aromatherapy. And you're getting those oils down into your skin. The skin is the largest organ of the body. So, you start, even if you're going to just grow rosemary, it definitely has the benefits. It works really well, even as in plant form.
Did you say that rosemary was good for type 2 diabetes, and would you use it?
How would you use it?
I was in the other room listening.
Yes, type 2 diabetes. Where did I read that? Yeah, because what it does is it helps with liver detox, and it helps to get rid of the enzymes that are linked to type 2 diabetes. And I believe that was done. You can do that internally. I would probably recommend internally or aromatically.
Why isn't it good for a woman with a bun in the oven?
Because with the female parts of this discussion, I try not to get too much into it, but it will actually regulate your menstrual cycle, and because it has the power to do that, they don't really recommend rosemary or any of the oils that can do that. They don't recommend it for pregnant women because they don't want to induce labor early. So that would be why. All right. Okay, muscular. Now this is why I really think Rosemary was in that sore foot recipe, because Rosemary's really good for any kind of muscular issues. So like if you have tendon issues, connective tissue issues, any cramping like Charlie horses, if you're fatigued, somebody asked about fibromyalgia, any kind of inflammation, muscle development, neuralgia, and that's what we use it for. That's why I had ordered it, was because of the nerve pain that Jason goes through. Rosemary is good to apply on the nerve pain. And it works not only on like sharp pain, but it also works on that dull chronic pain as well. Anybody who ever gets any sprains or spasms, tension, stiffness, any of that, rosemary works really good. It can be applied just almost like a like when you're doing a back rub or something like that, you can put it in the lotion that you're using, so that works out really well. Let's see, nervous system.
No, I've gone.
What?
Sugar Mama says that I wouldn't go get your pads for you.
No, he doesn't go. But I'll tell you what he does do. When we're in Sam's, he'll say, "Do you need any more of your female stuff?" So he will ask, but he doesn't have to buy them for me. I don't put him in that position because when I was really young, my mom passed away like just a few months after I became a woman, and for months I wouldn't ask my dad to help me out, and so then after a while he figured out that I needed help, and I saw the struggle he had to go through, so I didn't I don't ever want to put my son or my husband through that, because that's just not fair. I'm perfectly capable of going and buying that stuff for myself.
I'm a good husband.
Yes. Okay. Nervous system. So if and we talked about this already a little bit, multiple sclerosis, nerve pain, if your eyes are stinging or burning, the rosemary you can put down below the cheekbone or up above the eyebrow. You just have to be really careful not to get it in your eye. If you get it too close to your eye, all you need to do is use like coconut oil or olive oil and just put it over the area where you applied the oil the first time, and it'll actually pull the oil out of your eye.
Would it be good for shingles?
I could think of better things than shingles. I thought I saw a question above that you missed about postmenopause. You just didn't want to ask it.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, it is good for postmenopause.
Well, then, if you saw it, then why didn't you just go ahead and answer
Well,
it?
because I was in the middle of a sentence, but
well,
anyway.
That's probably why I missed it.
Okay.
See, I don't see. Where's it at? I don't see it.
It was Suburban Hillbilly. Keep going. It's up there. I promise. Keep going. Right there. What about postmenopause? Alright. Now, in men, I had said this before, baldness, imbalanced hormones, prostate. This is definitely, in some of the research I saw, I was looking at cancer stuff and studies, they definitely, every time I looked, prostate was on there. So, rosemary is good for men too. It also helps if your testosterone levels are too high. It'll actually regulate those as well. And then with women, it works good for cysts, endometriosis. I know somebody had asked me about endometriosis a few shows ago. Migraines and headaches, infertility, menopause, postmenopause, irregular menses, mastitis, anything like that. Rosemary works well for those conditions as well. Okay, y'all, I'm circling the wagon here, so kind of get your questions together if you have any. Respiratory issues, so any kind of bronchitis, bronchial infections, inflammations if your airways are closed off, wheezing, chronic cough, ear infections, stuffy nose. That's another thing. Is Bass Family in here? I haven't seen her.
Haven't seen him.
It's an expectorant, so it will help with any kind of mucus, to break up mucus. What it really does is it thins out the mucus. I learned a new word, y'all. It's anti-catarrhal, I think, which means just that it thins out mucus so that you're able to get rid of it easier.
How many drops internally?
Like 2, 3, I think.
And what about during breastfeeding with the mastitis?
Okay, wait. I take that. Well, I would say 2 to 3 because I would be drinking out of an 8-ounce glass. It tells you on the bottle 1 drop per 4 ounces of fluid. What was the question?
You said about mastitis. What about during breastfeeding?
I would obviously not use it close to when you're actually feeding. And the thing is with mastitis, a lot, from the way I understand it, at least with cows, mastitis occurs when you're not milking properly, and there's an infection. So typically, if you have mastitis and you're breastfeeding, you shouldn't be feeding your baby anyway, I would think, because the infection, I would believe, would pass through the milk. So,
how much does Brad have to take to get rid of his piles?
I would recommend just rubbing them straight on there.
What's the best?
That and Melaleuca, woo! You won't sit down for a month.
What is the best way? What is the best way to take or use? Miss Hanson, no, I did not see your comments.
Okay, what's the best way to take or use? You can do it any which way you'd like. If you don't mind drinking it in a glass of water, that's good. If you don't mind just the smell of it and you want to apply it topically, you can do that. And you can also just put it in a diffuser and let it diffuse in the air. So any of those would be good. Okay. Insomnia, flashes, night sweats, moods, nerves. Absolutely, Suburban. This is one. But I would go back and watch the Clary Sage video, because that one, Clary Sage is really good for all of those things that you're talking about.
You just opened up that door.
Well, I haven't even seen Reen. I thought she left.
No, she's still.
No. Okay.
Can I add rosemary to the bath water that it already has alcohol and Epsom salts in it?
Alcohol? Why would you put alcohol in your bath water?
Mm-hmm.
You can put rosemary in bath water. What oil is best for bees? What kind of bees? Or is he just being funny?
Mm-hmm.
There it is, Clary Sage. It depends on what you're trying to do for the bees. If you're trying to use it as an attractant, lemongrass is supposed to be really good. We've just not had success with it. What?
Nothing.
Was he being funny and I missed it?
Yes,
Okay.
you missed it.
Oh well. Okay. I'm not going to say those words tonight. That's because you got enough people trained to do it for you. My blushing bride has trouble with her circadian rhythm. What herbs are good for sleep? Lavender. Let's say. What did we say? Clary sage was good. Cedarwood is good. There's a lot of them. Pine Meadows. There are a lot of videos.
Miss Hanson
oils that are good.
Says that it's a good in a marinade. It kills the meat.
Right, because it's antibacterial. That would make sense. Green alcohol and soak.
What are you thanking me for?
Take a bath with tea tree. Oh, I bet that was awesome, Palmetto. Lavender, peppermint, tea tree. But let me ask you, because I've always been curious about this. When I've used peppermint in my shampoo and I wash my hair, the water runs down my body and it makes my body really cool. So I was just wondering how
one of those nights, Claire.
how that worked with it being in a bathtub. Because if you're completely submersed in it, it's got to be cooling. So that's what I was curious about that. Lavender, frankincense, ylang-ylang, there you go. Those are some that... And the thing, though, is that lavender is okay price-wise. Frankincense and ylang-ylang are pretty expensive. Cedarwood's pretty reasonable. It works good for sleep. So... Alright. It stings.
Yeah.
Did he come back and say anything? Because I was curious about Palmetto, about what it felt like
yet.
in the... Are you sure?
I'm sure. Why am I even here?
And also tea tree. Like, I bet that felt good, but... Okay, it only really did it to my legs. Amanda gets that cooling mostly on the butt. Yeah. Can you do clove oil? I can do clove oil, yeah.
No, next is, you promised. Yes, because last week... Okay.
Go ahead, tell me.
No. Last week you promised that it was going to be... You promised them it was going to be rosemary, and then this next week it's supposed to be something else. Somebody back me up here. I forget what oil it was supposed to be.
Sage? No. Diabetic? No. Thyme? No. Coconut? No. Was it thyme? No, it wasn't the mosquito oil because I...
Frankincense. That's right. It was the frankincense.
Am I really doing frankincense?
Yep.
Y'all just know when I'm ordering stuff. That's what it is. I just ordered a new bottle of frankincense so that I would be able to afford to give you guys. No, I don't want to do the blends because I want to cover all the single oils before I start talking about blends. That was the whole reason for doing it the way. Okay, so yeah, see, Norma, I'm exactly the same way. Now, I'll tell you, I've used eucalyptus and have had no problem with eucalyptus, but peppermint, I guess if it was diluted enough. Have I done lemon yet? No, I have not done lemon yet. No, I haven't done lemon. And lemon, let me tell you, I'm finding out some stuff about lemon, y'all.
Oh, wow, that was a good Farmer Meemaw impression right there.
Didn't you already do frankincense? No. No, I didn't do frankincense, and the reason I know that is because anybody who's gotten a sample from me can attest that it is not one of those little bitty, itty bitty bottles. It is a decent size sample bottle. And frankincense, for a bottle this size, these 250 milliliter bottles, it's almost like $100. So for me to give maybe almost a third of the bottle away, that's a pretty big deal. And I don't have any problem doing it, but there will only be one person winning next week if we're doing frankincense.
You got a lot of people pouting because you just said that, because some people want to get into the blends. Because they're like, there's so many singles out there we'll never get into the blends.
No.
Peer pressure.
I'll tell you what. Let's do it this way. I'll look into some of the blends over this next week and see if any of them include oils that we've already covered. How about we go that route?
Okay.
If the blend already, if it includes all of the, and let me ask this while we've got a few minutes, are there any blends specifically that you're interested in? Because then what I can do is look at that blend to see what oils are in it and make sure we cover that so that we can get to that blend quicker. How about that? Could you could do the blends and the many names that come in. Yeah, I mean, well, and the thing is that, oh, you want me to do it again, simply? It won't do it now that I try to do it. I need to learn more about the individual. Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's just that. Now, Catherine, I've used that with the eucalyptus and spearmint. I did notice the tingling, so I don't know, but it was only with my my joints and my muscles. No, we buy ours, but you can make your own blends with different stuff. What?
I just made every dog in Simply Circus house just go to the door and start barking.
You're a butt face. Let's see. And deeply do a blend on the first Monday or the last Monday. Okay, we could possibly do that. Work on that. I just, like I said, I didn't want to talk about a blend because here's the thing with the blend, guys. Sometimes, the blend can have its own specific use and then maybe a few more uses. So maybe what we could do is at the end of each show, maybe we could do one at the end of each show, maybe?
Rain just called you rude.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Ha ha, how rude. No, she's talking to you.
No, she's talking to you.
No, she's talking to you.
So.
Alright, it's 10 o'clock here. Almost 10. Yeah. So, your knocking might have been rude. Clucking like a chicken. He said he was bored. You barked and he said, "See, Mom, I'm not the only one." I'll be glad when he lays his egg. There you go. Maybe that's what I'll do. Whatever oil, like if there's an oil we're doing, if I can find a blend that goes with that oil, we can talk about that blend. I like that idea. See, she was talking about you.
No, she wasn't.
Will you stop? Stop making the dogs bark. That's not very nice.
That's for shark bait.
Okay, so does anybody have any other questions before we get to where it's time for Mama to go to bed? Anybody else?
In regards to the live plant versus the oil, is one better than the other?
On some of these, I would say one is better than the other just because you're getting more you're getting more of the benefits by it being the pure oil. But in a situation like rosemary, if you're cooking with it, if you're growing it, and it's very aromatic, so it's a lot more invasive as far as smell goes. Those kind of things, I would say, always the oil seems to me would be better because it's more highly concentrated. But if you can't do the oil, then the plant's definitely not something to,
See, Dean, email Robin for that and we'll be able to hook you up.
Anything unsafe for pets. One thing I have seen, and somebody here told me not so much, but they don't recommend you use Melaleuca with cats. As far as I know, Amanda, yes.
What did you see, Tracy? She says she sent an email, but please take your time. It's a big one. That doesn't mean go
I haven't seen it yet. It was at the oils email because I haven't received it. I've got my phone right here and it's going off as I'm sitting here. Yeah, Kitty was saying her cat likes Melaleuca. Now, I don't know if it's a like or if it's a not good for. So, I don't know, overall if it's just something that they normally are. Yeah, tea tree, it's bad for cat. That's what Melaleuca is. So, but see, cockeyed, that's what Kitty's saying, her cat likes Melaleuca. So, anyway, so, yeah, there's a lot of different recipes. These books, I'm getting ready. I am going to be making a book order here pretty soon. There's a lot of rollerball recipes in this book, the Essential Life book. There's a lot of... What are you doing? Oh. There's a lot of rollerball recipes in here, so it makes for a really good resource to have. I'm going to look for that foot thing, because it's got me just... Or are you going to show off your bear?
Okay, I will.
Show off your bear while I try to find my sore foot recipe.
I got a present today in the mail.
Mm-hmm. Who'd it come from?
I got this in the mail from Mama at Always. Her and Professor Steve sent me this bear.
Yep. They sure did. Sore muscle, sore feet. There we go. 227, 254. Okay. Alright, I found it, guys. Here it is. Okay. It's 1 drop of frankincense, 2 drops of spearmint or peppermint, and 4 drops of rosemary. And you take those oils and you stir them into a 1/4 cup of Epsom salts. And you mix it together really well. And then you add it to warm water and you soak your feet in that for 20 minutes. And I will tell you, it works. It is so good. So 1 drop of frankincense, 2 drops of spearmint or peppermint, and 4 drops of rosemary.
Suburban Hillbilly wants to know, can you explain the defractionated?
Well, fractionated, not defractionated.
That's a DE in front of it.
Yeah, I know, but it's called fractionated coconut oil. What it is, it's a carrier oil, and what they've done is they've treated the oil so that it doesn't, you know, coconut oil in its cold pressed raw form will solidify until it hits about, I think it's like 70 degrees, 75 degrees, and then it'll liquefy. But what fractionated coconut oil is they've run it through a process that makes it so that it doesn't solidify. So it's always...
Did you see what she said?
One of those bears is saying something. That would be you. Bandana Grandma.
You are not going to call her the Banana Grandma.
No, because she said earlier, I think. Anyway, somebody earlier said they're getting ready to go make banana bread. So, what's good for heart palpitations? In my research, rosemary was one of them. Don't apologize. It's not a big deal. But I'll tell you.
You talked down to her.
But I'm gonna beat you. Ooh, I threatened you. I am so sorry.
Not
So
very professional.
I know. No, but I'll tell you, fractionated coconut oil. If you have regular coconut oil, when I put my oils on, I usually put them in the palm of my hand first, anyway. And so
It smells like Christmas.
what I end up doing is I end up putting that regular cold pressed oil on my hand, and when it hits my hand it melts because we're 98.6. So I only get the fractionated coconut oil if I
What's good for a scar? To cut down the scar. on the scar.
we talked about that.
I know you ain't
What
talking
did we talk
pooper
about
scooper.
last week? What was the oil last
I'm gonna
week?
punch you in the throat.
It was vetiver. Wasn't vetiver one that we talked about last week that was supposed to be good for scars?
So this is good for memory, right?
Yes. I know frankincense and lavender are good for scars. Also helichrysum. Helichrysum is extremely expensive. I was talking to Donna about this yesterday.
I remember now.
Helichrysum is extremely expensive, but I'll tell you, if you're of the mindset of preparing and not being able to always be able to go to the doctor for prescriptions and stuff like that, helichrysum has a really strong property of cellular growth and cellular renewal. So it is one of those with, if you have a really bad, you're killing me. Sometimes you're worse than the kids.
I know.
Give me that. You're high on it now. So anyway, as far as the scarring goes, I know when I got burned at work, between the lavender and the frankincense, I didn't scar. So if you have a scar, that works. That works good for that. But also the vetiver. When we were looking at vetiver last week, I believe vetiver. They said that it was supposed to be good for scars as well. I was just looking something up, and now I don't remember. Yeah, see, that's what I did too, Kitty. I did the same thing. Yes, I'm distributing. You're absolutely right. How did you figure that out? Wendy, also black pepper works really good too. Cinnamon works well, but so does black pepper. Christine, you have no idea. He is the biggest child I have. There was something else. Somebody remind me? There was something.
Why is everybody
palpitations? That's what it was.
Wendy.
Smoking. She's heart palpitations. That's what
I think I got some rosemary in my eye now.
Good. You deserve it. Somebody was asking me about palpitations. Frankincense, lavender, and thyme are the top 3 that they tell you for that.
Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping.
Okay, so we're doing frankincense next week.
Into the future. I want to fly like an eagle.
Alright. Any other questions before we go? Palpitation paratrooper. No, I liked pimento pooper scooper better. Red thyme or white thyme? Yes.
Like red wine or white wine?
Yeah. Stop giggling in your shirt. Why?
I wasn't giggling in my shirt. I got rosemary in my eye.
Oh. How long will Jason be zonked on rosemary? He won't be. Mary, I'm thinking about probably ordering both.
Y'all ain't fussing at her about being on the desk? What's up?
Whatever Big Bear's drinking from your... When can I get a book from you? When I order them, Kitty. I haven't ordered them yet. I'm going to order them. I was trying to wait for this Essential Life book to come out with a new edition, but they said, yes, there's 2 books. Okay, so one of my friends sent me...
She wasn't their friend. She's our upline.
Well, she is our upline, but she's a friend too. She sent me this book. It's a Modern Essentials book. Yes, Brenda, Rosemary is the one that looks like a pine tree. But this Modern Essentials book is also really, really good. And this is the other one. It's the Essential Life. So these 2 books I use quite frequently, like daily. Whenever the kids come up to me and ask me, like, my daughter's finally growing in one of her molars, her wisdom teeth, and it's really bothering her. And so, of course, we put some cinnamon and some clove and some peppermint and let her swish around with that, and that really works well. But another thing that she was complaining about is her gland right up underneath the area where the molar is swelling. And so when I was doing all my research today and it started talking about glands and swollen glands, we went and got the rosemary oil and put it on there, and within like 2 minutes she came back and she's like, Mom, it doesn't hurt anymore. It went down. So it definitely worked for her. So I'll put it that way. It worked to help the swelling, help to bring down the swelling of her adrenal gland down underneath her. All right. Nelson Homestead, you're welcome. No problem. I still got to send out kiwis. we've had a busy week. Saturday was kind of rough. I had to work, so that's normally my day for going to the post office, and I did not make it to the post office. So we've got to make it to the post office this week to send out samples, and I'll send out the rosemary. Well, no, Palmetto. You guys are coming down for Dessa's party, so I'm hoping that I'll just be able to give it to you. No problem, everybody. I'm glad everybody had a good. One of the books. Oh, the new edition. Okay, so the Modern Essentials came out with their new edition a few months ago, or a month ago. But the Essential Life, there was rumor that they're going to put out a third edition, and I haven't been able to see that yet. So I was told that it would be October, but here we are in the middle of October and haven't seen it out yet. So
got it today, simply.
Her birthday is on the 25th, so it's a week from tomorrow. So we're pretty excited about that. Her in-laws are coming. I mean, the in-laws are coming in this weekend.
Yay.
I have not heard of that book, Susan, but you know, there's plenty of books out there, guys, and for the most part, they're going to be pretty much kind of the same. I mean, they're going to have the general breakdown of each oil. The one thing I like about the Essential Life book is that there's a lot of recipes. In every single section, there's a recipe for something. But in the Modern Essentials book, there's more of a breakdown as to why it works. It tells you some of the chemical compositions of each one of the oils. And so, like, when I start telling you about cortisol and carnosol and, you know, diphenhydramine or whatever, all these crazy terms that I come up with, they're all in this Modern Essentials book. It gives you chemical breakdowns of just about every oil, and it also has some recipes, but not nearly as many as...
Can I get a glass of green tea, please?
Not nearly as many as the Essential Life one. Okay, so again, just email me and let me know. I was basically, like I said, waiting for October to kind of be over to, you know, Mary, that's a good idea. I could probably do that.
Blaze to get me a glass of my new green tea.
I'll look them up. It's Total Wellness Publishing, and I'll see if I can find out if they're going to do a new edition.
Go.
Well, Donna S., you know how to get a hold of me, so just send me. You have my regular, the Big Bear email as well. It doesn't matter. You can just send me however you know how to get a hold of me. Just send me a message and we'll figure it out. Okay. I think it got warm again. It is hot in here.
You should have seen me climbing up that deer stand. I was sweating by the time I got to the top.
So, Susan, what we did was Jason was using green tea instead of sweet tea. And the more we looked at it, the more we realized that it had some stuff in it that he really didn't need to be drinking. So what we did was we went and got green tea bags and we made sweet tea with green tea, but instead of using sugar, we used stevia, and then we put, and this is where it gets kind of interesting, we put 2 drops of lemon oil, 2 drops of grapefruit oil, and 2 drops of wild orange. So we made our own citrus blend tea, and Jason says he really
Hey, Pooper
likes
Scooper,
it.
you need to teach me how to make that, because I've heard that is really good.
Pine needle tea. I would imagine you just make it like tea with pine needles. See, now when he opens up that door, though, it feels cool. So it just...
Put the fan in that window over there, please.
Pine needle tea is terrible. That means there's more for pimento.
Pooper Scooper.
It's easy. The only thing you need to do is not to put too many needles in it. There you go. Grapefruit can counteract some meds. Well, see, we don't take any meds, so. But thanks for putting that in there, Donna. I appreciate that. All right, hibiscus tea. You know what? Jason does that one too.
Good job, bright one. 1400 on the SAT, and you can't even put a fan in the window.
It's a 1280.
It's a 1280, but still.
If I had the other 120, I'd be able to do this.
Oh, wow. Alright. Well, it looks like we're pretty
You got it blowing the right way?
slow on the questions. Is this moving into Insomnia Club? No. No. Good night, T. I didn't even see you in here. Alright. It's called a hot flash. Nope. Nope. I'm too young for a hot flash. I think what it was is I was drinking
Every time you
hot tea.
You walk past me, I get a hot flash.
I know. I happen to be wearing the Insomnia shirt. Nice backhanded brag on your boys SAT. What's your favorite Mortal Kombat finishing move? Jack. No. Oh, so you're saying I'm old, Suburban? Wow. That's not very nice. Thank you. Is it Mariah? I'm not sure how to say her name.
You know, that's a tough one.
Can you spell it phonetically for me? Because I'm having a hard time with it.
You know,
and I'm really big about being able to pronounce people's names right.
You could go with the Scorpion one, or you could go with the Sub-Zero one. And then you got to ask him, well, which Mortal Kombat is he talking about? Is he talking about Mortal Kombat
DC.
1, Mortal Kombat versus DC, or Mortal Kombat like 800 million that they got out there?
India Tango. What? It. Oh. Reptile would be
Reptile would not be Scorpion and Sub-Zero, no.
So Maria, is that right? Yeah, I'll be 40
Ultimate
power
3.
surges, yeah.
I don't remember that one. I don't think I played that one.
Yes, okay, so Maria. Okay, that's easy. I can remember that. Thank you, because that's been bothering me. Every time I get a message or an email from you, not knowing how to say your name bothered me every time. So, okay, so Maria, I can do that. It means miracle. That is awesome.
But Reptile does have some cool techno theme music, though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Don't get mad because you can't hit him.
I smoke Reptile.
Started at 39. Whew, well, that's how old I am. I'm 39. So
That's what you've been for the last 3 years.
don't even start that crap. You know better. Almost 40 and cool as ice. No, what it was is I'm drinking hot tea and the
No,
air's
cool
not
tea.
circulating in
No,
here.
but
So
Reptiles is a little bit cooler than everybody else. That's about the only thing he's got going for him.
Everybody has a hard time. Well, I'm glad you set me straight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good, Susan. I'm glad to hear that. She dug up her sunchokes. We need to go ahead and do that.
Yes, we do. You're 19.
See,
20
the
years.
thing is I'm not really worried about. I'm just not. I don't care
That's
about
because
age.
you got a smoking hot husband. That's why you,
That's exactly
you're
what
like,
it
it can't get any better than this. I got my arm candy. And he's prepared for the end of the world.
And see, Sherry, I'm the same way. I can drink coffee anytime, but the hot tea, I mean, I love it. I love it. But if right now the air's just stagnant, it's not moving at all. And it doesn't matter whether it's hot or cold, it just, when air's not moving, it's just stifling. And I can't do.
Can't wait to see you, Jack.
When is he coming?
When it gets cooler.
Cool. Not as much, Jason.
No, I'm a good catch.
I can't be in the big girls club yet. I will tell you that the clary sage, and all all joking aside, I used the clary sage. Okay, so I used to get really bad migraines. And so somebody in my upline said, you really should try clary sage. So as soon as I could afford to buy it, it was one of the first oils that we bought that was outside of our normal stuff. And I opened up the bottle because I was really big on smelling them, what they smell like. And so I opened it up and I smelled it and I was like, wow, I really love the smell of this stuff. So I started wearing it almost like a perfume, and that was because at work, I mean, I would be at work for 10 hours sweating like a dog, and I hated smelling bad. So I would wear a diffuser necklace, and I had the oil in the diffuser necklace, and it would just, radiate around me. And so I had my own little tent of smell. And but what I didn't realize I was doing was, because the oil, I put it on the back side and the front side, the back side was actually touching my skin, and so I was actually, infusing myself with the oil as well. And I didn't realize just how much this oil worked until my first aunt showed up, and I had no idea it was coming. And you remember this just as well as I do. I was like, look at the calendar, that can't be right. And then I realized in each month it was the same way. So, and I've heard of people with menopause having the same thing happen. Once they started using it and diffusing it, for some reason, whatever properties are in clary sage, it works really, really well. And so I'm hoping that by using it now, maybe it will alleviate the symptoms of menopause when I get a little bit older. So, anyway. So there's my clary sage joke for the night. Suburban, you're talking about menopause, I'm assuming. Okay. Alright. Yeah, and Susan, if you're going through that too, that's the same thing. Okay, so, Farmer Meanwhile, you asked me about this. I thought yeah, you did say that. I think I told, yeah. Okay, so what you would do with that, Mima, is, one is Melaleuca. You could put tea tree oil and peppermint on a cotton ball, or a, what I've heard of people doing is using old dryer sheets that have already been done. So then they put the oil in there and then just shove it down in the shoes. You can do a rag, anything you want. Just put the oils on that and just put it inside the shoes. And but the Melaleuca works really well for getting rid of those smells. So, and yes, she better bring a cake.
What?
Let's see. All gone through. I'm on the other side of the mountain. Okay.
What? I was scratching my head.
Let's see. The one with the baby chicken wish.
What? Yeah,
What else
we're
good
pretty much
for-
done. Why, you want to Skype?
Does not cause cramping.
Okay.
Rosemary's
all right.
one of them.
Okay.
Colitis. That one I've looked up
That's me.
because we looked at Crohn's before, and Crohn's and colitis are a lot similar as far as the protocols.
They want to Skype with us.
Okay. Ginger is
Okay,
good,
so we're gonna
peppermint's
get off
good,
that
and
shit.
rosemary is good, but also the digestive blend is also really good for colitis. And in doTERRA's version, that is called Digest Zen, and that is really, really good. Skin cancer.
Okay, that's the last question for the night.
Geranium, frankincense, and sandalwood are the top ones that I see for skin cancer. I haven't done sandalwood yet. That's another one of those more expensive ones. Really, palmetto? That's a good one to end on right there.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Thanks for coming by. Don't forget to check out everybody else in the
Check out
Homestead Network this week. We'll be back Saturday. Predator Control in the Homestead comes out tomorrow. Then Home Maintenance. Then Sustainable Living. Then Preparedness. And then I mop the floor with Wayne again in this weight loss challenge. And then Sunday, I mean, if you really wanted to, you could tune into Big Family Homestead. I don't know why you'd want to do that. You're always picking on people. But, alright, we love you guys. Thanks for coming.
Night, everybody.
And, well, Palmetto won, so I don't have to say that again. Alright.
Yeah.
Night. Bye.
Y'all have a